So I thought my role as a leader was to get them fired up and to get them as hungry as I was. Yeah. The problem is this coaching mindset shift changed my entire sales team. This is big. Now, I will tell you, I had gotten results. Before this shift, I had gotten results. And I think it's just from sheer numbers, just sheer like I do believe you can get results without this shift, but you'll always be limited. Always be limited. So the year was 2000 and I think 11. I was the number one income earner of the company. I was just crushing it out, making it happen. I had multiple people in my organization that were making 10,000 a month, 15,000 a month. And, we were rocking. It was great. And a gentleman came by the name of Larry Thompson. And how many know Larry? How many have heard of Larry? Larry is one of the just greatest trainers in all of network marketing history. He actually joined network marketing the same night and the same hotel that Jim Rohn joined network marketing, right? They were there together, signed up together. It's pretty cool. And that was like 50-ish years ago. Larry comes in and he just represents a whole different level of wisdom. And I was like, wow, this guy's smart. He knows some things I don't know. I remember going to him and I said, hey man, I'd love to get your feedback. And I think I sent him one of my courses and he goes, yeah, man, this is really good content for 5% of your team. And I'm like, come again? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And he said, yeah, about 5% of your team. This is really spot on. And I'm like, what do you mean? He says, well, Ray, your style, because my style back then was just to get in their face. I remember getting on conference calls and I'm like, if you're not prospecting 10 people a day, what's wrong with you? I thought, like many leaders, I think still do, I thought my role was to pump people up and to get my desires in them. You ever feel that way? You ever feel that way? Anyone else? Just me? So I thought my role as a leader was to get them fired up and to get them as hungry as I was. Yeah. The problem is, if you're on here and you follow me, most of your people will never be as hungry as you. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. Because compensation, commissions, they're not the only benefit of network marketing. I know people that have been in network marketing for 25, 30 years that have never made a whole bunch of money, but they love it. You couldn't drag them out of it because they feel appreciated. They feel connected. They love the company mission. They love the product or the service. They love the events. So who's to tell them that ain't right? You should be focused on making money or you're a loser. But that's basically what was coming across. That was my style of coming across. A lot of leaders, when they notice that there's a lot of people in the organization not doing anything, they shift gears. They go into training mode. They go into, I guess I need to train them more. So they go into training mode. They get out of recruiting mode. Now that's the one mistake I never made. I never made that mistake. I stayed in recruiting mode. I was bringing in 20, 25 people steadily every single month for years and years. So for probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I was just every single month, 20 to 25 new people I was personally bringing into the organization. So I didn't make that mistake. I never made that mistake of going into trainer mode and, let me stop recruiting so I can just focus on training, because I knew energetically that couldn't be the answer. That wasn't the answer. What the answer is understanding culture. Understanding culture. And culture, my definition, because I never found anyone that had a good definition of it. Nobody, no trainer I ever met. My definition of culture is allowing someone to feel good regardless of their level of desire or level of result. Allowing someone to feel good regardless of their level of desire or level of result. You're going to have people in your organization that don't kill it, right? But that may not indicate their happiness level. There are people in your organization that love being part of your organization. They're not making a whole lot of money. And the only thing that would drive them away is if you made them feel like a loser, if you made them feel like a disappointment, if you went to them and said, hey, when are you going to step it up, man? And they're like, oh, they have this realization, oh, I'm not meeting their expectations. Well, I don't want to be a disappointment. I don't want to mess up their team. I guess I don't belong here. I'll give you an example of who does this in an interesting way. Planet Fitness. Okay, Planet Fitness. Now, I worked out at Planet Fitness in North Carolina, and because it was the closest gym, and I'm just like, all right, I'll just go there. And personally, I don't like the signs. I'm not crazy. It's like no judgment zone, and it's like I'm not looking to judge, but I don't need to be told that. I'm a grown adult, and it's like there's all these signs but it's like no judgment zone. And it's like, what, I forget what they said. What is a lurk? A lurk is someone who grunts when they lift their weights. And I'm just like, okay, like you're overdoing it. However, for some people, that is a safety zone, right? That is I don't need that baby talk, but they do a good job of that because there are people that if they went to Venice Beach Gold's Gym, they would feel self-conscious because they would be, the bigger, less out of shape person in the gym. Is this making sense? I'm not saying that you have to treat your team exactly like Planet Fitness. I'm not saying that, but that's an example of them knowing their clientele and them catering to that. Okay. It's how do you allow people to feel good regardless of their level of desire or level of result? Because the truth is, the longer they stay around the campfire, the more likely they'll catch a spark. See, some of you have been doing this correctly. And when the pandemic happened, you had all kinds of sleeper cells activate. You had all kinds of people that were in your organization that hadn't really done much. And then all of a sudden they were pushed into a corner and they started producing. Now, how you manage that is however you manage that. Most people didn't manage it very well. They didn't manage that momentum very well. They just took it for granted, like most people take anything, for granted. It's how did you manage it? That's another question. But how do you allow people to feel good regardless of the level of desire or level of result? How do you be grateful for every person in your organization, regardless of their promises kept, regardless of how they show up, regardless of their work ethic, regardless of their goals, or if they show up to every meeting or anything like that? That coaching mindset shift that Larry Thompson helped me with, and feel free to tag him. If you know Larry, tag Larry. I love talking about him. I've been edifying him. I feel like he told me, he's like, yeah, you're one of the few that continues to edify me. And I was like, dude, I'll always edify you. Feel free to tag him if you know Larry and his amazing wife, Taylor, and they're both awesome. That helped me dial it in. Okay. So to have an inclusive message to everyone in the organization, but then when someone raises their hand and says, hey, I want to be a top earner, I want to make it rain, I want to be, a rank maker, right? Pulling them aside and giving them more specific instructions. Okay. So it's not that you just baby everybody, no, it's that you don't assume levels of desire in everyone in your organization. And instead you take those with desire, you're talking to them separately, but then you have a more welcoming message. And here's how you can do that. It's just two little letters, one word, the word if. So you could start every training, everything, right? You could start with if. Hey, if you're on here and you're wanting to build a business, awesome. This is really going to help you. And if you're on here and you're just checking things out, so totally cool. We appreciate you either way, right? That word if grants permission for them to have whatever level of desire they want. If you try to force your level of desire on everyone in your organization, you're going to prematurely chase people away. You're going to chase people away that could have been rock stars. And the more of that you do, and then you see them go crush it in another company and you're like, darn it, right? You think it's you. It's actually how you handle culture. It is you, but it's how you handle culture. Okay. There you go. I hope that's helpful to you. If you need more help around that, two options for you. One, you can get my leadership book. Hey, while you're picking up the Faith Driven Wealth book, pick up my leadership book. Why not? That'll help you. If you're wanting more in-depth help from me, reach out to me on coaching you and your organization. So feel free, send me a message. I'm happy to connect with you. I am going to ask you a few questions and I'm going to pray about it too. And we'll see if we should do something more together. All right. I appreciate you so very much. God bless you. God bless your family. I appreciate you so very much. Have an amazing weekend and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.